Good morning, it's Miss Casey. I hope you guys are having a good day. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, it was so good to see you both yesterday. You looked awesome. I really miss you a ton. All right, so let's get started. So today we're gonna do a quick reading, dinosaur fact, and we're gonna get back to our chapter book, Ungifted, and we're going to read chapters 10 and 11. All right, so I'm going to say good morning to Luke. Hi, Luke. And I'm going to say good morning to Jack. Hi, Jack. All right, so today is Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. The weather today is going to be sunny. Oh, I didn't put the high and the low. I'm assuming the high will be around somewhere between 85 and 87. I looked this morning, and then a low of maybe 63 to 67, around there. So I will have to check and see if I'm correct after, but it is supposed to be hot today. All right, so our dinosaur fact. So dinosaur bones have been found on every continent, even Antarctica. Interesting. And I was also reading that there are a lot of different types of dinosaurs that are still being found today, which is also really cool. All right, so let's start reading chapter 10. So it is called Unpasteurized. Donovan Curtis, IQ 112. Donnie, I was getting ready for school when the blood-curdling scream brought me running out of the bathroom. Donnie, get in here this minute. I leaped over Beatrice, who was sprawled across my doorway, and ran into Katie's room, preparing to dial 911. But she was alive and well, sitting at her laptop computer, reading her overnight emails from Afghanistan. From First Lieutenant H. Bradley Peterson, United States Marine Corps. Katie, Captain Hunsinger says he saw your stomach on YouTube. What gives? Brad. I redended. It probably was Noah. YouTube is his whole life. I'm entitled to a life too, you know, she stormed at me. That didn't change because you blackmailed me into signing on with your freaky brain trust. I found that video. It's basically a 2-minute close-up of my fat belly while We Are the Champions play in the background. It's a compliment. He got nothing better to do with his 200 IQ. Cut it out, Donnie. You're not talking to your misfits here. They're not misfits, I insisted. They're just different, super smart, but in a dumb way too, like babies. It was the wrong word. I reminded her. My husband is 11,000 miles away in a dangerous war zone. He shouldn't be hearing about his wife's pregnancy from YouTube, and his captain shouldn't be hearing about it at all. I'll get Noah to take the video down, I promised. He didn't mean anything. You don't understand about him. She looked curious. What happened to you, Donnie? You're giving your best friends the cold shoulder but defending these crazies? I'm not, I protested. But she had a point. I had been avoiding the Daniels, who were being totally unreasonable about sharing our Valentine dance with the dweeb army. Sanderson's words, not mine. Poor you, I'd told him at the time. If you're so offended by smart people, then don't go. Deidre's going to be there, he'd shot back. And Heather, she's so into you. At that point, Nussbaum had punched him in the gut. Heather's into me. Nobody's going to be into anyone when the academy dorks suck all the coolness out of the air, Sanderson had complained. That conversation really bugged me. I mean, nobody knew better than me than the gifted kids weren't exactly uber happening, but this was a school dance, not some A-list Hollywood red carpet event. Like there weren't any uncool people at Hardcastle. I faced Katie. They're not crazy, most of them. Don't knock them. These days, they're your biggest fans. She cast a sour look at Beatrice. They're not exactly facing stiff competition in that department. Show some respect for the almost dead. That's not funny, she snarled through gritted teeth. Did it ever occur to you that my marriage could be on the line over that dog? No, because it's all the same to you. So as long as your weird classmates get to paw the incredible expanding stomach, I sighed. If they're smart enough to predict supernovas on the opposite side of the galaxy, credit them with their brains to appreciate how you came to their rescue. Her eyes narrowed. There's something fishy about this whole gifted thing. It just doesn't add up. I'm not saying you're stupid, but you're hardly the type to sniff around for extra work. I didn't sniff around. The academy found me, remember? I do remember, she conceded. That's the fishy part. Anyway, we should get going. My appointment with Dr. Manilow is at 9:30. I was attending Katie's next obstetric checkup, not as her brother, but as a member of Human Growth and Development 101. Mr. Osborne had gotten permission for a field trip, so our whole class was going. I hoped Dr. Manilow had invested a spacious office. Driving with Katie was an adventure these days. Her stomach was so huge that she had to set the seat all the way back. Her arms were barely long enough to reach the wheel, and she hunched forward, looking like Jeff Gordon wedged behind a giant beach ball. We were just waddling in from the parking lot when the minibus arrived. You could tell they didn't give a lot of school buses at the clinic. In obstetrics, the only kids involved were the ones being born, and not too many pregnant women arrived with an entourage of brainiacs. The doctor was running late, so we had to wait 40 minutes, which wasn't exactly pleasant. Noah speed read through 2 years' worth of Mother-to-Be magazine, peppering Katie with questions like, have you eaten any unpasteurized cheeses lately? No, she grumbled. Have you? What's your opinion of giving the baby solid food before 4 months? You're bringing back my morning sickness, she warned. Really? According to the June 2011 issue, that happens in the first trimester. She just glared at him. It came back when they saw my stomach on YouTube in Afghanistan. Oz quickly stepped between them. Let's give Katie a little space. Noah, this is her doctor's appointment. After all, we're just privileged to be here. When we finally got called, the nurse said, I'm so sorry, only immediate family in the examining room. They are family, Katie informed her with a sigh. You know how you can't pick your relatives? The woman was adamant. I'm afraid it's a privacy issue. I have no privacy, Katie said. My stomach is on YouTube. Oz was ready to back everybody off, but Dr. Manilow was kind of psyched to have an audience. He used to work at a teaching hospital, he explained. He missed having students around. We kept our distance for the exam, of course, but we watched the sonogram, and we were all invited to put on the stethoscope and listen to the baby's heartbeat. Sounds kind of freaky, commented Luttrell. You know, listening to another person who's trapped in there. Katie made a face. I can't tell you how thrilled I am that my family is contributing to your horror movie fantasy. It's a miracle, Chloe breathed. Even Abigail's serious expression softened when she had the stethoscope on. Oz assumed a far-off, dreamy expression. I remember these appointments from when my wife and I were expecting our own kids. There's nothing quite like it. The doctor kept Katie a few minutes extra. When she stepped out into the waiting room, the students of Human Growth and Development 101 leaped to their feet and gave her a rousing standing ovation. Their enthusiasm was so infectious that everybody in the reception room joined in. All the other expectant moms and dads and family members. Katie was so taken aback that she actually did a little curtsy, blushing deep. I didn't do anything, she insisted, but the smile on her face was 100% genuine. Katie headed home alone, and I got on the minibus with everyone else for the ride back to the academy. How was the field trip? Asked the driver. Fun? Chloe nodded enthusiastically. We were at a pelvic exam, and we listened to a fetus, added Noah. The driver seemed bewildered. We're gifted, I explained. All right, chapter 11. Unsuccessful. Dr. Schultz. IQ 127. Well, my no mess-ups rule was pretty much out of the window. My life had become one big mess-up after another. 3 weeks had passed now, and not a single repair had been made to the Hardcastle gym. Frankly, no one was doing anything about it. The insurance company was digging in its corporate heels, and we had no option but to dig in ours. The instrument of destruction, Atlas's detached globe, was collecting dust in the basement of the administration building, next to old filing cabinets and a lawn tractor that was missing one wheel. What was left of the statue looked incomplete and idiotic. Most maddening of all, I could not for the life of me find the piece of paper on which I'd written the name of the horrible boy responsible for all of this. I'd scoured every millimeter of my office. I'd even gone personally and ransacked Cynthia's desk in case she carried it off by accident. I'd hired a cleaning company to go over the entire administration building with a fine-tooth comb. Nothing. He was out there somewhere, laughing at me, getting off scot-free. My wife said I was becoming obsessed with this phantom boy. Maybe so. Lately, I'd been finding excuses to visit Hardcastle Middle School in the hopes I would recognize this sneering face somewhere, but I never saw him. It was as if the culprit didn't go to school there anymore. If only I had the name. Irrationally, I began shuffling papers on my desk. It had been right here. Cynthia tottered in on her high heels. Dr. Schultz, I have the first progress report on the new human growth and development project at the academy. The special expert is named Katie Patterson, and she's the sister of one of the students, a boy named Don. Just put it on my desk. I interrupted, still peering into drawers. Wasn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? I had to get a grip on my nerves. I had duties to perform, and bringing this boy to justice was only one of them. Case in point, the relocated Hardcastle Middle School Valentine's Dance was tonight. This would be the first time it had ever taken place off campus, and the first time that outside students were being included. We were infinitely proud of our high achievers at the Academy for Scholastic Distinction, but many of them weren't the most socially adept young people. I wanted to be on hand to make sure everything ran smoothly, and I mustn't forget to make contact with this Mrs. Patterson so I could express the gratitude of the entire school district. What a wonderful family they must be. The husband serving our country in the military, and she selflessly helping that one class in its time of need. If only more people were like that. Awesome. All done. Okay, so tomorrow we will read chapters 12 and 13, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, boys.